You know, when you look back at royal history, what I find the most fascinating is how letters and things and artifacts get placed in the most unusual things, you know, the unusual places. You know, personal letters, say, from the late and beautiful Princess Diana, or indeed our late monarch, Queen Elizabeth II. Private letters that obviously are to individuals that maybe relatives now, in the fullness of time, have decided that they're going to sell on, you know, that sort of stuff. But what's always more fascinating is when it really is not necessarily about members of the royal family, but about associations, as you can imagine. You know, the jewels belonging to the late Wallis Simpson were very speculative, weren't they? Because, of course, many people suggested where did they all come from, and more importantly, who paid for them. Many people suggest some rather unsavoury things, as you can imagine. But recently, back here in London, a very spectacular necklace with a wonderful royal association became back on display, virtually 100 years down the line. And this was all about a lady who was really controversial at the start, of course, of the 19th century. None other than the infamous socialite, beauty and, well, some say actress, Lily Langtry. Let me explain. Hi, good to see you. Thank you so much as ever for your time. I hope you're keeping well. And of course, we'll have a lovely wave. It's nice to have your company, as I say. Freezing out here. Well, I'm not cold, but it is dropping cold, yes. If you are in the United Kingdom, remember, get yourself a hot water bottle. It's the best thing. Yes, I've invested. No, you have to. No, honestly, I'm not joking. I still think the old-fashioned things are the best. You want to keep your feet warm, that's the best thing, isn't it? Lovely hot water bottle. Even if you just sat on the settee watching the telly, far cheaper than having the radiator up, let me tell you. Who can afford that now, though, anyway? You know what I mean? You think about people literally in the royal history. There's none more controversial, some people might say, than Wallis Simpson. But you see, this is what I've often said about, you know, our chums here on the show. It's what we remember, or the things that we remember in time, you know, this sort of thing. And Wallis Simpson, yes, was very controversial. But way back in the 1900s, there was this lady, Lily Langtry. It's hard to say just how diversive and really shocking she was as a person so associated with the British monarchy. You see, she was one of the many mistresses of the King, King Edward VII. And he didn't bother about flaunting these mistresses. Oh no. But Lily Langtry was a little bit cleverer than a lot of the other ones, because she knew exactly what she wanted. She wanted fame, she wanted money, she wanted power. She wasn't necessarily interested in ever becoming queen or anything like that. That wouldn't have appealed to her in any way, because she knew there were bigger bucks outside. Remind you of anybody? Now, where it gets even more fascinating is Lily, you see, really just utilised her King Edward. She was very clever in making sure that he liked her, and the association rolled on for many years. Even, of course, attending his funeral. They had to let so many different people in. Lily made a mint out of being the face of Pear's soap. Yes, plastered up and down on the omnibuses and the billboards of the burgeoning underground. There was no escape this particular individual. When she went to places in the provinces like the Grand Theatre in Blackpool to perform, she was doing pieces from, you know, Shakespeare, etc. She was no actress, but people went to see her as an influencer, we call it today, a beauty. But it was this particular necklace that was commissioned by King Edward VII just for her that really caused a storm, because literally at some point she claimed it had been stolen, and miraculously it reappeared in one of her many dressing bags on one of her many tours up and down the country. Of course, that wasn't until allegedly the insurers came out and gave a bit of money. You understand how this works. Now, this necklace, which was put together by, of course, the splendid Hancocks over here in the United Kingdom, has suddenly re-emerged. Edward VII was so deeply enamoured with Miss Lily Langtry, he is believed to have presented her with this stunning necklace during their time being together, marking it as a token of affection from a royal admirer. The Prince of Wales commissioned the Egyptian revival necklace for Lily Langtry as she was appearing as the Egyptian Queen Cleopatra in the West End. In addition to her acting career, Miss Langtry was also a socialite and had a very successful built-in business empire. Oh yes, we've mentioned that. According though to family sources, the necklace was worn by Lily on the opening night of Antony and Cleopatra at the Princess Theatre in 1890. But Lily was no slouch because she had a paste copy made so that she could continue taking it around for performances. However, audiences had no idea this wasn't the original. That wasn't the last of the necklace, because many years later, in fact in 2006, the Oscar-winning actress Meryl Streep, who was starring in the hit movie The Devil Wears Prada as Miranda Priestley, well, she was wearing the necklace in the film. And they thought this was a great idea to once again showcase it. But the good news is it's now back on display over here in the very heart of London at Hancock's, and you can see exactly how Lily Langtry was beguiled by King Edward VII's choice in very spectacular jewellery. Now, how much was it? Well, apparently records don't necessarily show that, because nobody really wanted to, well, exactly say how much the personal coffers of the British taxpayer had funded for this very special opening night gift. But Lily went around basically saying it was worth more than anything to her in the world. And the reason why she kept it in a bank vault away from the real one where she had a copy made is she said that that was going to be her pension. She needn't have worried. She made much, much more money simply by royal association. If you get the chance and you're in London and you fancy looking up some literally wonderful royal history, then pop along. It's free to view. Neil Shawn in the very heart of London.